Hello everyone, this is Ravi from Vision Defense Institute, and I'm here to share the analysis of NDA examination which was held on 16th April 2023. And from our material PPTs and weekend test question papers, totally 20 questions have been reflected out of 27. So totally they have asked 27 questions both in bio and chemistry. When I talk about the science category, totally it carries 50 questions, right? So from that 50, physics is 25, and chemistry will be about chemistry and biology together will be 25. But this time they have asked together entirely chemistry and bio 27, right? So totally 74 percentage of questions have been reflected for the examination out of 100 percentage. Let's see the reflected questions. Here comes the first one. Consider the following statements regarding the cell wall composition. This is also discussed in the class about the bacterial cell wall. It is made up of peptidoglycan, and fungal cell wall. It is made up of chitin, and animal cell. They do not lack any. They do not lack cell wall. So human beings as well. So here, this question plays the role in weekend test examination also, and also it is given in the material too. So this has been replicated. And next one is, which one of the following structures is not present in a prokaryotic cell? So this question is also reflected as it is in the PPT material and so on. And next one is, in a plant cell, which one of the following contains their own DNA? And this has been reflected in the CDS examination and also in the NDS examination. In CDS, it has been reflected as RNA, and in NDA, it has been reflected as DNA. So this is also covering in the portion of PPT. And one advantage of sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction is that it helps species to survive over long evolutionary time. This is because sexual reproduction produces. So this question is also entirely discussed in class about the reproduction factors, and it is also well explained in uh, material too, and also conducted in weekend test examination questions. So this has been replicated. Which one of the following structures or components is not always present in living cells? So this is also as a proof in PPT, that is in slide number 13. And which of the hydrocarbons are arranged as per the increasing order of their boiling point? So this has been asked in the weekend test examination. So this has been replicated as such as the question here shown here. And an iron nail dipped in copper sulfate solution turns brown. This is due to which one of the following types of reactions? So this is also replicated from the VDA PPT. And toothpaste prevents tooth decay by, this question is often asked in NDA and CDS part. So this is also been replicated in the PPT as well as in the material too, and in weekend test examination. Among the following, which is not the correct method for keeping the curd? So this is also being replicated in the PPT analysis. And organisms capable of using carbon dioxide as principal carbon source are called. So this is also replicated in the PPT wise, that is based on parasitism, decomposes, and mutualism, etc. During a laboratory experiment, a student immerses epidermal leaf peel in a hypertonic solution. After some time, the student examined the cells under a microscope and observed that. So this is also been replicated as in CDS and in NDA, and it is reflected in the PPT, what is given in the PPT. And which one of the following is not a characteristic feature of fungi? So when I talk about these characteristic features of all fungi, protista, these are also being asked in the weekend test examination pattern, and also given in PPT, and as well as given in material as well. And which one of the following statements about bryophytes is not correct? This bryophytes question is often asked in every part of the weekend test examination. So it has been reflected as such as in PPT and weak test questions. What is the specific purpose of using potassium hydroxide during the saponification process? So this has been asked in every examination, every examination of NDA. So this is also been reflected in the PPT as such. Which one of the following is a correct arrangement of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity? So when we talk about the reactivity series, it is given in the material and as well as in PPT, and often asked in weak test question papers. Which of the following statements is not correct with respect to allotrope of carbon? So this allotrope of carbon area is also important, and this has been asked for the examination, and it is reflected as such in PPT, and also it has been asked in weekend test question papers also. For manufacturing of glass, which among the following is used as a source of silica? So this has also been asked in the examination point of view, like weekend text question papers and in PPTs and given in material too. Which among the following is a correct arrangement of halogens in the increasing order of their oxidizing nature? So this is also asked for week test question papers, and it's given in PPT and material as well. Copper sulfate crystals available in the market are blue colored crystals. By careful heating, they turn to white color. Which of the following is responsible for the blue color? So it is obviously it is asked in the PPT manner, that is given in water of crystallization. It has been taught in the class and discussed, as well as it is observed in the last NDA previous year question papers analysis also. Then it is asked in week test question papers also. Equal volume of all gases when measured at the same temperature and pressure contain an equal number of particles. Who proposed the above law? So this part is mainly discussed on the last minute revision, exam part of revision, as well as discussed in class entirely. And it is also reflected from the PPT. It's given and in material too. Now let's discuss about the 27 questions in biology and chemistry given in NDA examination. So the first question is, who among the following is not a recipient of Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2022? So these are the factual type of questions. So mainly they'll be asking about the Nobel Prize winners and for what methods they was getting a Nobel Prize and what was their achievements and so on. So from these options, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2022 was awarded jointly to Caroline Mortel Meldal and Barry Sharpless. So Benjamin List Nobel Prize was on 2021. So by this year, he was not getting this Nobel prizes. So these three was getting the Nobel Prize for the development of click chemistry and bioorthogonal chemistry. Click chemistry and bioorthogonal chemistry. So they were awarding at the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences in Stockholm. So next question is, consider the following statements regarding the cell wall composition. The bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, fungal cell wall is made up of cellulose, animals lack cell walls and have extracellular matrix made up of sugar and protein. So we have to select the correct answer using the code below. So we know that bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, that statement is right. And when we talk about this statement, this peptidoglycan is nothing but it is made up, it is a polymer. It is a polymer that is made up of sugars as well as the amino acids, sugar and amino acids. So we can say that this statement is true and it is the main component of the bacterial cell wall. So when we talk about the fungal cell wall, it is made of cellulose. So this statement is false entirely because fungal cell wall is made up of chitin, not cellulose. Plant cell wall is only made up of the cellulose. So here the statement is false and fungal cell walls are made up of chitin, that is a polymer of N-acetyl glucosamine. It is made up of N-acetyl glucosamine and it is not a cellulose here. And here the animals lack cell wall and have extracellular matrix. So this is made up of the sugar and protein. So this statement is true. And here the animal cells do not have a cell wall as well as the human beings do, but they do not have a extracellular matrix. So which is said to be a complex mixture of proteins and carbohydrates. Proteins and carbohydrates. So they provide a support and structure to the cells. So definitely the option will be C, 1 and 3 only. The next question is, which one of the following structures is not present in a prokaryotic cell? So it's going to be nucleus only because prokaryotic cells are characterized by the absence of true nucleus, right? So they are lacking the nucleus, and eukaryotic, the nucleus is present over there. So which means that their genetic material is not enclosed within a membrane-bound nucleus, right? So instead, their DNA, it is usually present in a single or circular chromosome, which is located in the cytoplasm. So this prokaryotic cell do not have a cell wall, right? So they do not have a cell wall here. So ribosomes will not be there, and the plasma membrane is also not present here. So the cell wall provides a structural support and protection. So the ribosomes are involved in the protein synthesis, and the plasma membrane controls the entry and exit of molecules into and out of the cell. So option is C, nucleus. Next question is, in a plant cell, which one of the following contains their own DNA? So when we talk about this consideration of DNA, both this mitochondria and chloroplasts, they are semi-autonomous organelles, so they have their own DNA. So this is used to separate from the nuclear DNA of the cell. So this mitochondria are responsible for generating the ATP throughout the cellular respiration, while this chloroplasts are involved in the photosynthesis and also in the production of carbohydrates. So when we talk about the nucleus here, nucleus contains a majority of the cell's DNA, but the endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes and Golgi apparatus and vacuoles, they do not contain their own part of DNA here. So obviously the options will be C, mitochondria and chloroplast. And the next question is, one advantage of sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction is that it helps species to survive over long evolutionary time. This is because sexual reproduction produces. So obviously when we look upon this question, here sexual reproduction involves a fusion of both the gametes, that is male and female gametes combined to form an embryo or a zygote. But here, the fusion of gametes from two different individuals, that which results in offspring with a combination of genetic material from both the parents. That is both the male as well as the female. So obviously it is going to be D, more variation in offspring. The next question is, which one of the following structures or components is not always present in living cell? So when we talk about the consideration of this question, here the cell wall is a rigid outer layer which also provides a structural support and protection to cells in all organisms. When you talk about all organisms, particularly based on plants, bacteria, and fungi. For example, animal cells do not have a cell wall, and some bacterial species may have a flexible or there will be an absence in cell wall as well. So in other place like plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and this genetic material, they will be having the essential components that are always present in the living cells. So obviously here the option will be A, cell wall. And the next question is, browning of the chopped apple can be minimized by. So this part of question can be asked as well as in physical or chemical change also, right? So here, when we talk about the browning apples after being chopped, this is due to the enzyme called as polyphenol oxidase. Polyphenol oxidase, that is PPO. So this which reacts with the oxygen in the air and the phenolic components present in the apples. So lemon juice will be in acidic nature and contains the ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid. So this which can slow down the activity of PPO and delay the browning process. And when we talk about the sugar, so sugar can also slow down browning in some extent by lowering the water activity and also reducing the amount of oxygen available in PBO, but it may also change the flavor and texture of the apples. Next one is the preserving in the container. So when it is preserved in the container or milk of magnesia, they are not effective methods of preventing this browning. So definitely the option will be uh, using lemon juice. Option is C. Next question is, which one of the following apparatus is used for separating benzene and water mixtures? Sorry, which of the hydrocarbons are arranged as per the increasing order of their boiling points? So when we talk about the increasing order of the boiling points, so when we take the option B, it is incorrect because pentane has a lower boiling point than butane. Yes, when compared to butane, and option C is also incorrect because heptane has a higher boiling point than pentane. And when we consider the option D is also incorrect because the arrangement is not in the increasing order of the boiling point. So the boiling point of hydrocarbon increase with increasing molecular weight and complexity due to the increase in the number of electrons and intermolecular forces between the molecules. So methane will be having the lowest boiling point because it has only one carbon atom, right? So the option will be B. So option B, C, and D is incorrect. So the option will be A. That is methane, butane, propane, and heptane. So this is asked in every part of the examination. And the next question is, which one of the following apparatus is used for separating benzene and water mixture? So obviously, when separating the funnel, it is typically used for separating the mixtures of benzene and water. Benzene is nothing but it is C6H6. So benzene and water is immiscible liquids. That is, they do not mix together to form a uniform solution. Instead, they form a separate layers when they are mixed together with benzene on top of the water layer. So a separating funnel is a piece of laboratory equipment so that allows for the separation of these two miscible liquids by allowing them to settle into a separate layers and then draining off one layer while leaving the other behind. So round bottom flask and the conical flask are the types of glasswares used for holding liquids and during the chemical reactions on heating. So a tin and stark apparatus is used for determining the water content of a sample by distilling the sample and also collecting the water vapor in a separate chamber. This is for collecting the water vapor in the separate chamber. So the option will be C, separating funnel. The next question is, an iron nail dipped in a copper sulfate solution turns brown. This is due to which one of the following types of reactions? So we know that a displacement reaction involves the replacement of one element, right? It is replacing one element in a compound with another element. So in this case, the iron in the nail replaces the copper in the copper sulfate compound, that which results in the formation of iron sulfate and elemental copper. Whereas the brown color which is seen on the nail is due to the formation of copper metal on the surface of the nail. So addition reaction involves in one or more atoms or molecules to a compound or molecule. So decomposition reaction involves the breakdown of a compound into a simpler compounds or elements. So substitution reaction involves the replacement of atoms or group of atoms in a molecule with a different atom or group of atoms. So none of these options correctly describe the reaction that occurs when an iron nail is dipped in copper sulfate solution. So the option will be the displacement reaction. Next question is, toothpaste prevents tooth decay by. So we know that toothpaste contains a substance called as fluoride. So it is a mineral that helps prevent tooth decay by strengthening the tooth enamel and also making it more resistant to acid attacks from bacteria in the mouth. So this fluoride can also reverse early stages of tooth decay by remineralization the weak tooth enamel, right? So while toothpaste can help to neutralize the excess acidity in the mouth, what happens is that they may contain some emulsifiers that aid in cleaning. So in primary role to prevent the tooth decay is through the action of fluoride. So making a coat of calcium over the teeth surface is not a mechanism which toothpaste prevents the tooth decay, right? So option will be C, the action of fluoride. And the next question is, among the following, which is not the correct method for keeping the curd? So we know that plastic vessels are not recommended for storing, right? Not recommended for storing curd because they can react with the lactic acid which is present in the curd and affects its taste and quality. So additionally, we can say that plastic can also harbor bacteria and may not be easy to clean as other materials. So stainless steel, copper, and glass vessels are all suitable for uh, storing this curd. So stainless steel is durable, easy to clean, and does not react with the curd. So copper vessels are traditionally used for making and storing curd in some cultures, but they can react with the lactic acid and change the taste and color of the curd if it is not properly made. So glass vessels are also a good option as they are easy to clean and do not react with the curd. So we can say that keeping in it is in glass vessels. And the next question is mica is mainly used in. So when we talk about this question, this mica is a naturally occurring mineral that has excellent electrical, thermal, and mechanical properties. So due to its combination of properties, this mica is primarily used in electrical and electronic industries, and this can be also act as an insulator in various electrical equipment such as capacitors, then we could say in transformers and also in electrical motors. So mica is used in the production of electronic devices such as smartphones, laptops, televisions, as well as the electrical insulating material. So this mica can be used in some of the food and beverage industry, such as in the production of pigments, which is used in food coloring, and it is not in the main source of application here. So this mica is also used as a raw material in the production of some types of steel and aluminum. But again, these are not in primary source of application here. So obviously the option will be D, electrical and electronic industries. And next question is organisms capable of using carbon dioxide as principal carbon source or called. So when we talk about these autotrophs or organisms that is capable of synthesizing their own food, right? So example, we can say that plant is said to be autotrophic mode of nutrition. So what are the organic molecules present here is carbohydrates from inorganic components. So they will be using this carbon dioxide as their principal carbon source to carry out this photosynthesis or the chemosynthesis to produce their own food. So these autotrophs are commonly found in the plant kingdom as well as in some bacteria and archaeobacteria. So these heterotrophs are said to be dependent over their food, right? So animals, human beings, they are all considered to be the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So here they cannot able to produce their own food. So they must obtain the organic molecules from other organisms. So they consume organic matter such as other plants or animals as their source of carbon. So parasites is nothing but it is a type of heterotroph. So that which we live on or in other organisms and obtain their nutrients from them. So these decomposers are also heterotrophs. It is also said to be a heterotroph that break down the dead organic material and recycle the nutrients back into the ecosystem. So option will be continuously autotroph alone because only they use the carbon dioxide. And the next question is when yeast cells are oxygen starved, fermentation serves as the source of energy. This results in the production of. So we know that when yeast cells are oxygen starved, they undergo the fermentation, right? Which is a metabolic process that allows them to continue producing energy in the absence of oxygen. So during fermentation, glucose is converted into a pyruvate. So this is converted into pyruvate through glycolysis. So what happens is that, and then this pyruvate is converted into an ethanol and carbon dioxide by the series of enzymatic reactions. So this process is called as alcoholic fermentation. So this is called as an alcoholic fermentation. So this reaction will be about glucose give rise to 2 pyruvate that gives to 2 ethanol and 2 molecules of CO2 and ATP. So therefore, the end products of fermentation in yeast cells are ATP, that is carbon dioxide and ethanol. So option A is correct. So ATP is carbon dioxide and ethanol. So this represents the correct products of fermentation in yeast cells when they are oxygen starved. And next question is, during a laboratory experiment, a student immerses epidermal leaf field in a hypertonic solution. After some time, the student examined the cells under a microscope and observed them. So here we know that when we talk about this case, right? So what it is mentioned here, because we know that in extreme cases, this plasma membrane can attach from the cell wall and the cell becomes plasmolized. So when we talk about the option A, the cell is well because it would be expected if the leaf field was immersed in a hypotonic solution, but the solute concentration is lower outside the cells, right, than inside the cell. So this which may leading to the water moving into the cell and swelling it. So when we talk about the option C, right, option C, the cells build up turgor pressure would be expected. That is if the leaf field was immersed in an isotonic solution where the solute concentrations outside the cell will be same as inside the cell. We know that. So it will be leading to an equilibrium where the water movement in and out of the cell is balanced. So when we talk about the option D, right? So option D, the cell size was unaffected here. So what will be in this case? It would not be expected since the solute concentrations uh, may not lead the leaf to water movement in or out of the cells, and it also affect the cell size, right? So option C and option D is not expected, and option A is expected, right? So what will be in this case? Yes, option A is expected here. And next question is, which one of the following is not a characteristic feature of fungi? So when we talk about this characteristics feature, it is given, we know that cell wall is made up of a cellulose, right? So chitin is nothing but it comes under the category of fungi. So when we come across this type of questions, characteristic features of fungi, protista, and so on, we should be clear with this type of questions, right? So it is generally, it is going to be, it is carrying out the photosynthesis. Why? Because is that the characteristic feature of fungi, it is not mentioned in the options, right? So they can carry out photosynthesis. So fungi is a diverse group of eukaryotic organisms that typically have a cell wall made up of chitin and a filamentous mycelium structure. So what happens is that they obtain the nutrients through absorption, which means that they secrete enzymes to break down the complex organic compounds and then absorb the smaller molecules of substration. So what happens is that this fungi can produce both sexually and asexually, and they also produce some asexual spores as well. So however, fungi cannot carry out photosynthesis. They lack the chloroplast and pigments required for this process. So instead, they obtain their nutrients by breaking down organic material all through a symbiotic relationship with other organisms such as a plant. So option C will be the answer here. Next question is, which one of the following statements about bryophytes is not correct? So we know that bryophytes are a group of non-vascular plants that includes mosses, liverworts, and etc. So this has been asked in all the examination part, amphibious plant, right? So they are characteristics by gametophyte cycle, which means that the plant body produces the gametes, that is sex cells. That is nothing but both the male and female sex cells, right? So what happens is that these bryophytes are also called as the amphibians, that is present in the plant kingdom because they require water for reproduction and survival and also found in some environments. So this plant body is attached to the substratum by rhizoids, right, which are root-like structures that anchor the plant but do not absorb water or nutrients. So bryophytes do not have a specialized water-conducting tissues, right? So like xylem and phloem, which are present in vascular tissues. So xylem is considered as the water conduction one, and phloem is a good conduction particle. So instead, water and nutrients are transported through diffusion and osmosis. So this may limit the size where the bryophytes can grow. So generally, the option will be D. Specialized water conducting tissues are present. And the next question is, what is the specific purpose of using potassium hydroxide during the saponification process? So when we talk about the saponification, it is a process which is used to produce the soap from fats and oils. So during this process, an alkali, which is used as a sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, right? So when we are adding the fat or oil, so what happens is that it has to undergo the hydrolysis, so and forms the soap, right? So it is generally the preparation of soap is done by sodium or potassium salt of the fatty acids and glycerol. So this potassium hydroxide is typically used to produce a liquid soaps or soaps that are softer in texture as well. So this is because the potassium hydroxide is a weaker alkali than sodium hydroxide, and so it has to produce a softer soap. So the choice of alkali depends on the desired properties of soap, such as based on textures, hardness, and cleansing action. So it is better. So this using with potassium hydroxide is very milder and better for the skin than those made up with sodium hydroxide. But it is very harsh and drying. So the option will be B. To obtain soaps which are soft on the skin. And the next question is, which one of the following is the correct arrangement of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity? We know that metals can be arranged in order of the reactivity based on the tendency to lose electrons and also form the positive ions. So the more reactive a metal, the more easily it loses electrons and the reactivity will be higher over here. So sodium is the most reactive metal in the list, followed by the copper, silver, and iron. So sodium is highly reactive and readily reacts with water as well as oxygen, right? While iron is relatively less reactive and reacts slowly with oxygen to form a rust, and copper and silver are even less reactive and do not react with water or oxygen at their room temperature. So option is C. And the next question is, which among the following statements is not correct with respect to allotropes of carbon? So we know that graphite is a soft and slippery material and it is not hard at all, right? So this is due to the fact that all the carbon atoms are arranged in layers. So it is easily slide over one another. So it can be lubricant in nature. So diamond is the hardest material and it is a graphite is a good conductor of electricity due to the presence of some delocalized electrons. So this statement is true with allotrope of carbon. So diamond is the hardest substance. So this is also said to be true. So it is known to be strong covalent bonds and it is tightly packed crystal structures, right? So fullerene is also one of the best method of allotrope of carbon, consisting of carbon atoms arranged in a halo sphere or ellipsoid in shape. So we would suggest that it is next to diamond, graphite is the second hardest known substance, right? So this one will be the option here. Not correct with respect to allotrope. Which among the following is a popular method for manufacture of ammonia? So the first process, Ostwald process is, this process is used for production of nitric acid from ammonia. and it involves in the catalytic oxidation of ammonia to produce the nitrogen dioxide, which is then reacted with water to produce the nitric acid. So when we talk about the Haber-Bosch process, this process is used in industrial production of ammonia. So it involves in the reaction of nitrogen and hydrogen gases at high temperatures and pressure in the presence of a catalyst to produce ammonia. So what is this electrical furnace? Electrical furnace process is nothing but it is used for the production of calcium carbide. So that which is used in the production of acetylene gas. So it involves in the high temperatures of production of calcium oxide and also with carbon in an electrical furnace. This electrolysis process is nothing but involves in the use of electrical energy to drive the chemical reaction. So it can be used in a variety of reactions. It's not common to use for the production of ammonia. So the option will be B, Haber-Bosch process. Next question is, for manufacturing of glass, which among the following is used as the source of silica? So we know that source of silica, it is used as sand. That is, the formula is silicon dioxide, SiO2, which is often asked in examination. So it is the main ingredient in the manufacturing of glass. Other materials such as uh, soda ash, limestone, and cutlet. These are also added to the sand during the manufacturing process. So option is B. Next question is, which among the following is the correct arrangement of halogens in the increasing order of their oxidizing nature? So when we talk about the halogen group, it is present in the periodic classification of table, that is group 17. So that are said to be halogens. So here, as we move down the group in the periodic table, the size of the halogen atom starts to increases and their electronegativity decreases, right? So hence its oxidizing power decreases in the order of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So option is D. So fluorine will be greater than chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Next question is, copper sulfate crystals available in the market are blue colored crystals. By careful heating, they turn to white color. Which one of the following is responsible for the blue color? So the blue color of copper sulfate crystals is due to the presence of water molecules, obviously. That is, we could say that water of crystallization. So when you take the factor of copper sulfate, for example, 5H2 or 10H2, these are all combined with water. So the chemical formula of copper sulfate is CSO4 5H2O, so it's pentahydrate, which means that each copper sulfate is associated with 5 water molecules. So what happens is that when the crystals are heated, these water molecules are driven off and the crystal becomes white in color. So obviously the water is responsible for the blue color of copper sulfate solution. Option C. Next question is, equal volumes of all gases when measured at the same temperature and pressure contain an equal number of particles. Who proposed the above law? So the law that states equal volumes of gases when measured at the same temperature and pressure contains an equal number of particles is known as Avogadro law. So this law is said to be Avogadro. So it was proposed by he was an Italian scientist. He was called as Amedeo Avogadro in the year 1811. So option is C. Last question is, airbags works on the principle of a chemical reaction triggered by the impact producing a gaseous product that contains a sudden volume change. Which one among the following chemical conversions is responsible for this? So we know that the chemical conversion responsible for the working of airbags is the decomposition of sodium azide. Sodium azide is nothing but this Na-3. It's called as sodium azide. So it turns into nitrogen gas and solid sodium upon impact. So the reactions will be 2 Na and 3. That gives 2 Na plus 3 Na. This is gas and this is solid, and this is also tend to be solid. So this reaction produces a large volume of nitrogen gas, which quickly inflates the airbag. So what happens is that it provides a cushion to protect the passengers in the vehicle. So therefore, option A is correct. That the sodium azide into nitrogen gas will be the correct answer. So This is the thought-provoking right on today's impact. That is, action is the foundational key to all success. So, if you have a plan and well scheduled manner, you can attain the success in your career path. So, be the best and inspire the rest. I hope you all enjoyed the session today. And the next batch of CDS and NTA is going to start on this month, that is April 25th, and second batch will be started on May 15th. So make use of it, and it is the best learning platform. If you have any queries and clarifications, please approach our Vision Defense Institute. Aim high and fly high. Thank you. Jai Hind.